Get ready for the action, because we are kicking things off with a story of incredible highs and devastating lows. Wes Schultz just had his first promotional win at UFC Fight Night 275 by submitting Ben Johnston with a third-round guillotine choke. But the celebration was cut short when his home was tragically destroyed by fire just 48 hours later. We dive into the aftermath of this major victory and the shocking event that followed.
Never get caught with a dead phone again. This INIU portable charger is compact, travel-friendly, and gives you fast 45-watt charging with a built-in USB-C cable, so there's no need to carry extra cords. With 10,000 mAh power, it's perfect for busy days, trips, emergencies, or anytime your battery drops too low. Grab yours on Amazon through the link in the comments before your phone hits 1%.
Next up, we shift gears completely to the world of grappling as UFC BJJ 8 announces a major shakeup on the card. After Bianca Basilio had to withdraw, reigning bantamweight queen Kasha Mura now faces a brand new challenger, Sabrina Gondim, who is stepping up on short notice with a tough matchup against the top pound-for-pound champion. Find out who Gondim is and what this means for the BJJ scene. The spotlight then swings to the political side of the MMA world as the Ultimate Fighting Championship prepares for a massive event at the White House. Donald Trump is heavily backing the show on June 14th, and the race for tickets is officially on. We explore how lobbyists and MAGA supporters are scrambling to secure access to the South Lawn, and what the implications are for sponsorship and attendance. And finally, we bring you the explosive fallout from the cage as Sean Strickland and Khamzat Chimaev bury the hatchet after their intense title fight. But this truce has ignited a massive backlash from commentators and other fighters, with Nate Diaz accusing them of faking their rivalry. Don't miss this breakdown of the drama and what this means for the MMA landscape. Stay with us. Wes Schultz experienced a dramatic turn of events just 2 days after securing his first professional victory in the UFC. Schultz, a middleweight fighter with a 9-3 MMA record and a 1-1 UFC record, achieved his promotional win on May 2nd at UFC Fight Night 275 by submitting Ben Johnston with a third-round guillotine choke. After securing the purses, Schultz traveled from Perth, Australia, back to the United States. However, the celebration was short-lived. Approximately 48 hours later, Schultz was awakened to discover that his house had caught fire while he was asleep on the couch. Schultz confirmed the devastating loss, stating, "I would have, but my house actually burnt down." He described the aftermath as significant damage, noting electrical issues, but emphasized that everyone evacuated safely, which was the most important factor. Schultz expressed resilience, saying, "It's toast." But F*** King, what are you going to do? It's fine. Keep on keeping on. Regarding recovery, Schultz indicated that replacing belongings would be manageable, especially with local disposal services available. He firmly stated he required no charity, having recently earned money and possessing essential items like his car, tools, and mouthguard. Despite the setback, Schultz remains focused on his career, praising his performance against Johnston as the most mature of his career. He reflected on his growth, noting that making it to the third round composedly and successfully navigating the fight taught him valuable lessons, solidifying his feeling of becoming an actual UFC fighter. He expressed excitement for his next challenge. UFC BJJ 8 has announced a last-minute change to its championship bout card following the withdrawal of former ADCC champion Bianca Basilio due to surgery. The event will feature a new title fight for the bantamweight division. Kasha Mura, the reigning UFC BJJ bantamweight queen, has been matched against Sabrina Gondim for the title. Gondim, 27, stepped up on short notice, having recently secured a bronze medal at the 2026 IBJJF Pans after losing to top pound-for-pound champion Sarah Galvo. This presents an uphill challenge for Gondim against the currently hot Kasha Mura, who previously captured the UFC BJJ bantamweight title by defeating ADCC champ Ffion Davies at UFC BJJ 6, and holds a second IBJJF no-gi world title at a division higher than the bantamweight class. The main event of UFC BJJ 8 will still feature promotion star Mikey Musumeci, who will face Kevin Dantzler in a bout for the bantamweight title. Dantzler is recognized as a talented pro grappler, but lacks major title experience. The rest of the card includes bouts featuring promotion staples William Tackett and Andy Verla, alongside an anticipated clash between Landon Elmore and Keith Krikorian. The full card also features Liam Krellinston versus Max Livingston, Azamat Bakatov versus Thomas David, and Enrico Said versus Ethan Krellinston. The South Lawn of the White House is set to host a major Ultimate Fighting Championship event on June 14th, coinciding with President Donald Trump's 80th birthday and the 250th anniversary of the United States. The event is generating intense interest, with lobbyists, lawmakers, business leaders, and loyal MAGA supporters vying for one of approximately 4,000 seats around the octagon. NBC News reports that the event is one of the most anticipated in America. The UFC anticipates an audience of up to 85,000 to watch the matches on large screens at the Ellipse south of the White House, with Paramount Plus providing live-stream access for subscribers nationwide. President Trump will personally select most of the attendees who secure seats on the South Lawn, stating, "I'm going to make a lot of enemies because it's impossible to get tickets for everyone." While tickets are technically free, and the UFC is covering event expenses, sponsorship packages that include ringside seats are reportedly selling for $1 million or more, according to a Republican lobbyist. The White House has directed sponsorship inquiries to the UFC, which has not disclosed the intended use of these funds. Mark Shapiro, president and COO of UFC parent company TKO Holdings, estimates the organization could lose up to $30 million organizing the fights and related events in Washington, D.C., despite the high level of enthusiasm within the UFC. Dana White, a UFC executive, described the demand as extreme, noting he only secured a handful of tickets and gave the rest to President Trump. Trump is distributing most of the available tickets to members of the armed forces, VIPs, and administration staff. Stephen Chung confirmed that he and other officials receive numerous daily requests for tickets. Analysts suggest that the UFC event is also being utilized by the administration as a mechanism for wealthy donors and corporations to gain favor with the federal government, similar to how they support other political initiatives. Sean Strickland has faced significant backlash from various figures in the MMA community following his reconciliation with fellow fighter Khamzat Chimaev after their explosive title fight at UFC 328. The two had maintained one of the ugliest rivalries in recent MMA history, characterized by personal insults and threats. Strickland reclaimed the middleweight title after a grueling 5-round battle, but the apparent truce immediately ignited controversy among those who had previously supported the animosity between them. Sean Brady, who participated on the card, expressed confusion over the shift in dynamic, arguing that intense personal matters should not be glossed over with post-fight camaraderie. Brady stated that crossing certain lines means there is no return, emphasizing that certain topics are off-limits, regardless of mutual respect. Veteran MMA journalist Ariel Helwani was particularly critical of Strickland, labeling his apparent retraction of pre-fight comments as fraud and cowardly, pointing to past remarks concerning Chimaev's family. Strickland responded on social media, asserting that the prior hatred was genuine, but that mutual respect was earned through the fight, suggesting that while the anger might remain, respect was established. Other figures, including MMA cult hero Nate Diaz, dismissed the reconciliation as faking the rivalry, claiming to have witnessed the fighters hugging and shaking hands immediately after the bout. Diaz characterized the gesture as inauthentic, suggesting the pair were faking the funk. Meanwhile, not all observers were accepting of the truce. Top middleweight contender Nasruddin Imavov has openly expressed hostility towards Strickland, warning that he intends to escalate the conflict, stating that every insult carries a price and promising a no happy ending for the American fighter.